This will be the People News, alright? Not attorney, not giving legal advice. Why? Because I'm not attorney. Alright, may give my opinion, then again, maybe not. Alright, I never look straight forward. I always look around me to be able to protect myself by any means necessary. This is one of the cases is thinking outside the box. Whether it's true or not, I have a tendency to believe these people more than I do the government, because the government that I know for a fact has lied to me. Okay? Over and over and over and over again. Since I'm 53 years old, I have not known a day they actually spoke the truth. Just saying. I have never seen them actually speak truth. Alright, so, but it's kind of interesting, y'all, if you sit and think about it. If we broke off from England, then why is everything in the United States almost exact same as England? Sit and think about it. History, is it or is it not repeating itself? We went through this great war to separate from England, and yet everything still remains the same. The only difference is King George gave himself sovereign immunity, and yet the judges gave themselves sovereign immunity, cops sovereign immunity, Congress sovereign immunity, except the people. And we are the ones is the governed. We are their bosses. So they lied and tricked you and took your power away. Just my opinion, y'all. But it just seems to me, if you really watch cop watchers, whether it's Canada, Australia, England, or the United States, all cops everywhere is acting the same. How is that possible? Don't we have this great thing called a Constitution? And yet, everything still seems to be the same. Alright.
Created a Sesta KV trust. The way they work it in terms of the occult side, they say, okay, you're born, you're created by the divine. And therefore, you inherit the earth. And you inherit in abundance. If you go on the internet, you can check it out. If we lived in the whole planet, 7 billion people lived in the same population density as Paris, we'd take up less than half the size of Texas. All the rest of that space on the planet would be left there. That would be it. It'd probably be crowded and horrible and all the rest of it, but that's about it. So you inherit, if you want to work it out, I took the time and trouble to do it actually. If you looked at it, you can do it online. Work out all the nice, arable, usable land, not the desert this guy was trying to claim, but that's there now, divided by 7 billion people. Each one individual gets 4 areas the size of Twickenham rugby field. All right? And that's good. That's your birthright. Exactly. That's 4 Twickenham-sized bits of dirt. That's your birthright. But of course, your mother registered you. So they take that asset, don't they, off you? That's your birthright. It's taken from you straight away. But what they do is they monetize it because they monetize you and that asset. And that asset is supposedly, from some researchers, I can't confirm it, but I know there's one lady that came here, she actually managed to find it, around about £2 million. So you've got an account that you don't know anything about that's worth about £2 million in today's money. And what happens is this. When your electricity bill comes through, there's like this little check thing at the bottom, isn't there? It looks like an old-fashioned check, and it's got like 3 banks on it. Santander, National Westminster, or something like that. And it says take it to a post office, fill it out and stamp it and all the other stuff. Okay, here's a little secret for those who aren't hoodwinked. Every debt that you incur with a corporation is zeroed or settled, because remember, it's not real money, it's credit, in 90 days. So any registered company that have got joined your name and address and your birthday can apply to the Crown and settle that debt. And what they do, and this is what's financing the corporate takeover of the planet, is they get their bills paid for twice. They get it paid by the corporation, because corporations can print their own promissory notes or bills of exchange and negotiable instruments. But what they do is they get it from the second way of funding, which is the money they put into circulation, which is your sweat equity. So they get paid from your bond account, which you don't know anything about, and they get paid by the money that you've had to go and work for, and you pay that bill off. So they get paid twice. And corporations, that's what they do. And the guys that are high up in the financial aspects of those corporations know this stuff. I've dealt with them. You know, and you can play this stuff. You can say to the council tax or whatever it is, that's already been paid. It's 90 days. It's outstanding. It's been done. Prove to me that it wasn't. It hasn't been paid for. And they can't. Because what they're doing is they're technically committing a fraud. Because they're asking, it's a fraudulent, isn't it? If I say it's cost that much and you've already paid for it and I try to get you to pay for it twice, it's fraud, isn't it? Double bubble, isn't it? It's called double bit tipping. Okay, but this is all part of the system that we're living in. You've got all this stuff, all those rights, all that economic power. The corporations are playing a game. When I was a kid, it used to be called Piggy in the Middle. Corporations one side, and they've got this account, and they throw it over you, because we're down here like that, and the other one catches it. Thanks for the money, I've got that, and you don't even know you've got that account. The occult aspect of it, again, is like when you have to go to court, you're actually being invited to a dark ritual, which is why you're summoned. You're summoned to appear, like you're some sort of ghost or a spirit, because that's what they think you are. Because that trust that's worth money, they don't tell you about it, but you could have reclaimed that within 7 years. But after 7 years, the law of salvage comes along, and the government say, okay, well, that's a wreck, well, we'll have that. So they salvage that, and they use that. So you can't get it anymore. Even though they know in the real world you're alive and flesh and blood, you know, because you've got your national insurance thing, you know, you go to the NHS, they know you're physical, you know, they'll take blood from you, all the other stuff. This occult system doesn't see it. They're off their dial, these guys, unless we begin to see that this is what's really going on, instead of just going, oh no, this is just preposterous, absolutely preposterous. How can this possibly be the case? Unless we kind of just, you know, open up our horizons a little bit, honesty, open-mindedness and willingness, and go, okay, well, I'll entertain this for a while. I'll do a bit of research and see if there's anything, this crazy guy was talking about. Do it yourself, check it all out. You're summoned to appear in a court. Why are you summoned? Because as far as they're concerned, you didn't collect that account within 7 years. So there, you're presumed dead. So if there's any liability, then they have to summon you, because that's what you are. You're a spirit. I know it sounds absolutely barking, raving mad, doesn't it? But this is the way they do it. Because the way these guys work is, and they've had many, many years to do this, they know if they can control your mind, then your body will follow. And they will use all manner of things. Just round the corner from here, there's a thing called the Tavistock Institute. Those of you that do a bit of research or do a bit of shrinky stuff like me, no, it really does some good work, but it's got some extremely dark aspects to it. And its whole founding is extremely dark. It's about mind manipulation. And really, when you start realizing how you're controlled in this system, they don't mind what religion you believe in. There is only one religion, and that's the religion of money. And they want you to believe in that more than anything else. That's what they're selling you, is that religion. You can go one day a week, if you like, to your church or whatever it is you go to, and feel good about yourself. That's great, because as long as you go back the extra 5 days and you work, because that's your worth, that's your offering. You are handing over your will and your life to the god money.
And for those people who don't know it yet, the word mortgage comes from l'amour, death grip.
Death grip, that's where it comes from.
You buy one house, you have 6. By the time you pay the last installment, your life is finished.
Things you brought up the mortgage to. Say you decide you're going to buy a house in London.
Interesting. Don't know that. Have not studied it. Mortgage means death grip. Remember, y'all, even in the Bible, whether you're religious or not, it says borrow a slave to the lender. Death grip, right? Whose face, Jesus says, whose face is on that coin, right? Give back to